You know, we really messed up yesterday, and we didn't expect this to have such a big effect on our family and on the entire community. We put out a video that was talking about a new study showing how you can test your own heart at health and how it has a life expectancy, people who are most likely to survive 1 year, people who are most likely to survive 10 years, and how that will adapt to an SHTF or a large casualty or even a medium casualty event. We have so many people in our family and our community that were worried.
Right.
They were concerned. They said, you know, I already have heart disease, or I have COPD, or I have a bum leg, or whatever it might be, that they had less of a chance of overcoming an event. That's absolutely
not
incorrect.
true.
The people who survive disaster events around our entire world are just that. They are you.
Absolutely.
They are the people who have canes to walk, have wheelchairs to be wheeled out in.
Right.
They are people who have an inability to get down flights of stairs. It doesn't matter what happens, what type of event that is. And sure, if lava is coming down behind you and you're running down the mountainside, having a bum leg is going to put you in a much harder position.
Right.
But that's where your key to survival becomes information gathering, making a mobility plan. If you have friends and family, and I know we do, Kelly wanted to talk to you about one of our close friends here. Peggy.
Yes, Peggy. She was just over here today visiting, and she was talking about she's having a slow day. And she said she has a slip disc, you know, it hurts to move around, but she was still walking down the road. She was still taking a walk. She just had a cane today.
That's
so
right.
She wasn't going to let it stop her and keep her immobile. She was just going to keep going. And I told her that, you know, yep, just keep going. You're just going to move a little slower. And she said, that's exactly right. So that's the point, that you will continue to move forward.
I want to encourage you that you are going to get through the event. You just have to have a plan in order. That plan, if you don't have the endurance of a 20-year-old, then that's okay. You just need to be that many steps ahead of the 20-year-old for deciding when to leave your area.
Right.
You need to be that many steps ahead of the 20-year-old to be smarter, more wise, more intelligent, to know what's going on around you. You need to have more situational awareness, and you need to see the threats for what they are, not just in your local area, but around the world. Given the fact that we are undergoing a financial crisis right now, one of the largest financial events in our entire world's history, and the fact that we are facing an ongoing biological threat in which a novel disease is taking people out who otherwise wouldn't be affected by a normally circulating disease, we have to know that the people who saw this coming got their affairs in order quick. They knew that a lockdown was going to happen, and so they prepared and got out of their area, or they prepared and got some food and some goods for their home. They knew that the financial event was going to be secondary to that event, and that what was going to happen after they locked down areas was going to send a cascading disaster through all of finances, except only a certain number of very small, very finite industries which would excel during a biological threat. Right. So you just need to be one of them.
Absolutely. You need to make every single person's plan is going to be different. A single person is going to be different than a husband and wife plan.
Right.
A family of four, our plan would be different than just a couple.
Right.
You know, every single plan is going to be different, and you just have to adapt that. If you are in a wheelchair, you will still make it.
That's
you
right.
just have to adapt your plan to fit your needs.
That's right. Now, it's in part of our standard operating procedure to make sure that the people who are in our family, in our group, that need to be picked up during a local event that needs mobility, that's part of our plan, to go and get those people and use our bodies to make sure that they have a little bit of an advantage. So just make that a part of your plan. If you're in that position where you maybe aren't as mobile as you once were, or maybe taking those flights of stairs really taxes your body, have a plan with other people who will come and get you or come and help you out of your area. And there are people there, and there are people that you can still trust. It's about building that bond. You know, we've been together for 17 years. That togetherness is only because of the bond that we built. That's how we allow each other to trust each other. That bond is how we allow each other to take complete responsibility for tasks and to help each other when those needs are there. You just have to build that type of a relationship. It doesn't have to be a husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah, it could just be a neighbor, you know, or someone down the street that understands your situation, and you slowly build that sort of bond with them, just that trust that they will be there if you need them.
That's right. And make that plan so that you know when to call somebody. And now you might be an able-bodied, fit 20-year-old, 30-year-old, maybe a super fit 50-year-old, whatever it might be. You just need to make sure that your own endurance and your own ability doesn't lower your chance of survival by thinking that threats don't really exist. Because the person who might be the most physically fit in the world might walk right into the crosshairs of a shooting event or another event, and they don't even know it. And what's their biceps or their leg power going to do then?
Right.
Their six-pack isn't going to help them at all, because it's not stopping that 7.62. It's not stopping that AR from going through. So you just need to be situationally aware,
Right.
informationally aware. You need to make a plan, and in doing just those three things, but Kelly had that fourth step. So if you can do these four things, you are going to survive an event. Be situationally aware, be informationally aware. You need to keep moving.
Right.
You need to make sure that you have some level of mobility, whether if you're in a wheelchair, make sure you're pumping some irons,
Absolutely.
even a 1 pound iron.
Right.
Make sure that you are moving around, doing some calisthenics. So you have informationally aware, situationally aware, then you have your personal mobility
Right.
to whatever degree you can, and you need to have your security in order with that plan as part of that security. So those four things are going to make sure that you and your family have the best chance of surviving whatever this world has to throw at you. You look at the volcano that's happening right now in, I believe it's Iceland. If you have a volcano event, you need to know when to get out of Dodge, get out of there.
Yeah.
You have a local threat of a riot, which we saw all across the United States of America less than 12 months ago, but how quickly the public forgets.
Right.
How quickly everybody forgets that just a couple of short months ago, we had people with a want to do violence and a want to create harm in their hearts rioting through the United States of America. We had riots in June. We had protests leading all the way up to the end of the year, and how quickly society wants to forget that these people who want to take advantage of opportunities, they want to take advantage of you, they want to steal from you. How quickly do people forget that the rest of these people didn't go away? They didn't change their ways. They are still out there just waiting for that next opportunity. That might be when somebody in your house is walking through your front door without closing it to lock it behind you. That's your situational awareness.
Right.
That might be the fact that a string of robberies are coming down your city and you don't have your security tools secured. That's informational awareness. That might be people who want to see protests and create harm during them. That's your making a plan, knowing that you don't go into protest areas. And that might be people who just take advantage of the frail and the weak. These people still exist, and they are still going to do harm. Now, Kelly and I have been talking a lot recently about how we are going to remain prepared for this ongoing financial threat, and one of those ways is always in our kitchen. You want to tell them a little bit about how you use our finances and our economy to make the most of every dollar that we're able to spend?
Absolutely. I mean, like everyone knows, I make everything. You know, we bake our bread. I make everything, and I try to food prep kind of recently. We've increased that a bit.
And I want to disclose something first, because Dave and I were just having a talk earlier today where we sat around and we said, going 100% off the grid and being 100% independent just isn't feasible for anybody except the maybe top 0.1% in the world who started off with enough money to do it.
Right.
Or you hit the lottery and you live in an area that you can do it. Everybody else that thinks they can grow their own chocolate at the same time they can grow their own cranberries and their own corn, and they're also in the same climate to have potatoes year round and do all these other things, are a bit deluded to the fact that we rely for our common way of life on some interconnectivity, and that might just be friends and neighbors, that sort of local commerce. So when Kelly says we make everything from scratch, we work our hardest to develop as much as we can. We grind our own flour, we do all of those things, but yet we still work into our economy the purchasing of chocolate because I don't have the climate here to grow it.
Right, absolutely. So what I mean is I try to prepare our meals as from scratch as possible.
Right.
So I make our bread, and recently, we eat rice a lot.
A lot of rice.
I make a ton of rice now, and we adapt that into, we'll eat that rice for 5 to 7,
5 days, whatever.
Yeah, however long it's good for. And I will make different meals to go with that rice.
Right.
So, you know, you have barbecue chicken, skillet, you know, things like
Yeah,
that.
let's name a couple of those. Recently, because Kelly will food prep rice at how many quarts at a time? Do you even remember?
I don't even
It's a giant food service.
It's a giant.
Yeah, you've got your measurements down, but it's a food service, the type you'd see at jail or in a schoolhouse, depending on where you might remember giant
Yes.
food pots from.
It's
So
large.
we make 5 days worth of rice at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the meals we'll go through with that rice?
We have barbecue chicken. We have broccoli, chicken, and rice.
Yep.
Sometimes just broccoli.
Yellow rice.
Yellow rice. We have, I'll use seasonings in, like if we have a meat patty or something like
That's
that, you know, tacos, something like that
Like
to go
eggs
with
and
it.
curry with it.
Exactly. So I make numerous different meals using the base of rice.
That's right.
And it helps us because we know how much rice costs. We
Yep.
know how much we can get and store at a time. And I make it and it lasts us for a long time.
That's
so it really helps us to know the food that we're going through because I know how many meals I'm going to get out of each preparation.
That's right. So I want you guys to take all these things into account and start to make sure that you have those key components. Make sure you have a plan, make sure you have mobility, your situational awareness, your informational awareness, and of course in your plan as part of your security. Make sure that you do those 4 things, and no matter what your personal health position is right now, of course we each need to further and try to get as good as we can out of these precious years that we have on this planet.
Yes.
We need to do exactly what we can to the fullest extent without being militant under most circumstances, to try and enrich our bodies as much as we can. But given the position where you're at today, use those 4 other steps and you are guaranteed to survive whatever the world throws at you. If you have any questions or comments or encouragement for other people, please leave them.
Absolutely. It is such an encouragement to see all of the amazing comments that we have from people in the community, just helping one another out. And you never know what change your comment could make in
That's
someone
right.
else's life. They might really need to hear that encouragement or that idea that they had never thought of.
That's right.
So even if you think it's nothing and you're just saying, you know, good job to someone,
Yeah.
that might change.
Or you feel like you've said the same thing to 10 different people. It's that one person that what you had to say really hits home in their heart. So from my family to you and yours, please stay safe and keep watch.